Thank you, Count Corley. Minister, I'd have to express my disappointment in your statement, both yours and Minister Naughton. The opening statement, you said you'd been in touch with all the stakeholders of the transport sector. Well, the knowledge I have coming into the Dáil is that's incorrect. You have not been in touch with the IRHA, the Irish Road Haulage Association, an organisation that gave hundreds of hours of their time to assist government in Brexit and COVID preparations. There's been no acknowledgement of their stellar performance of the licensed road haulage operators and their employees during COVID. In fact, they called for assistance several times during COVID to prevent shipping companies insisting that drivers share a bed cabin space on board ships. No assistance was forthcoming, no correspondence was answered, and in that the drivers steadfastly refused to share, to their credit, meant that not one case of COVID has been reported among the sector. It's actually disturbing to know that there is so little regard for the sector, something we had hoped would end with your predecessor, but unfortunately that does not seem to be the case, but I'm sure you'll make amends in your closing statement. That leads me to wonder, is this government going to continue to take an ostrich approach and bury its head in the sand in relation to Brexit? Why are you not moving heaven and earth to reduce the Irish economy's reliance on the UK market and the UK land bridge? The UK government, its current actions are clearly designed to threaten both the Irish economy and the Good Friday Agreement. They are using the threat of being able to cause chaos for the Irish economy in order to increase their negotiating strengths with the EU. That includes trying to coerce this government to compel the EU to capitulate to the UK's demands. Surely the government can see that the thing to do now is not passively live in hope that Boris Johnson and the UK government will be reasonable and climb down. But instead, you must act proactively and institute measures that reduce Ireland's vulnerabilities to this rogue UK government. It's time to be proactive. The time has come to put the vital daily ferries to mainland Europe in service. Doing so now will dramatically reduce the risk to Ireland's trade with the EU. You're not listening to the warnings from the people in the know. You're talking amongst yourselves. You're not reading the correspondence from the stakeholders, and if you are, you're not answering them. I've spent 30 years using the land bridge as a haulier, and you're hiring advisors who, dare I say it, most likely never sat in a truck, never mind over port, in their lives. Have a read of today's UK media. All of the newspapers are carrying the story where Michael Gove has written, and it's leaked, purportedly leaked, that 7,000 trucks in queues will be post-Brexit and it will last for days. He's telling them what they already know. The Taoiseach and half of this government are busy making videos telling the people in business we're 100 days out from Brexit and the actions that they should take. And I quote, "Think about your supply chain. If you're using the land bridge of Britain to get to continental Europe, you need to think about that and how that's going to work. Talk to your suppliers and also talk to your haulage and transport companies. Well, here's the advice for the umpteenth time. Take your head out of the sand. The land bridge is not going to work. You need to put a fast, efficient daily ferry from Ireland to France, and it needs to be now." What is wrong with the government telling people to think about something where there's already a solution? It would appear that the government is not thinking about it. So I'll say it again. Fast and efficient means the shortest, most viable option to mainland Europe, and that comes from Rosslare to Le Havre or Cherbourg, and it needs to be on a daily basis. That's the most appropriate, proactive approach we need, not trying to be the Steven Spielbergs of Twitter. Anybody would think you're waiting on a sign from God. And so just to be clear, and just so as you understand, the flour and the sugar that's needed to bake bread in Ireland daily is imported. When the baking line is stalled because the product is sitting in a queue and they can't bake the bread, will you, Minister, and the rest of the Twitter gang be making videos apologising to the business owners and the staff of Irish Pride in Timon, County Wexford? And will you make videos apologising for the fact that the price of a loaf of bread has risen to €3? Because that'll be the result of your passive attitude. The Irish people, the consumers, will pay the price. What will you tell the fresh fish exporters of Duncannon and Kilmore and Killybegs when the fish is in a queue in the UK going rotten in the trailer? What will you tell the hotel owners and the staff in Kelly's of Rosslare, the Talbot, White's Hotel, Whitford House, all Wexford hotels, the Riverside and Enniscorthy, that there's no more traffic coming from the UK tourists, and when that dries up and your government didn't make any effort to replace those UK tourists by putting a daily direct ferry in place to mainland Europe for EU visitors to come to Ireland? The fact is, all of this can be avoided if this government puts a daily service in place to mainland Europe, in place, in time, and that time is now. Yesterday I had a conversation about customs procedures. It even alarmed me. 10 minutes, they said, is what a document would take. Well, let me tell you, with 30 years practical knowledge, that's more like 40 minutes, and that's 2 an hour. 2 an hour. No one has mentioned the fact that the traces system used by the Department of Agriculture, which carries out sanitary and phytosanitary inspections, hasn't even been advised to the hauliers. They've been promised instruction video demonstrations, promised 4 months out with nothing. There is an opportunity here for this government to be the angels of Brexit, the government that saved Ireland from the chaos of the UK's making. If you don't save us, then you will be responsible for the demise of Ireland. Who will want to do business on an island when they can't get their product on or off the island on a competitive timeline? A timeline that gives certainty of delivery times. All because you wouldn't ensure that a daily shipping service to and from mainland Europe. It's time to wake up and smell the coffee.